This video is designed to help you navigate what we call a decision-based learning activity. To do so, you'll click on this box, and then you'll see a research question in the box above, along with other problems or research questions that you'll take through the decision model. And to begin, we'll read this research question. So, is the proportion of high school students who can correctly identify the subject in complex sentences in Spanish different from the national proportion of 95%? Additional information, sample size 50 high school students. So then we come down below and we look at the question that's posed. Are we comparing one, samples or a sample to a population, or are we comparing relationships between variables? So these are those options right here. If I don't know, I'll click on how do I decide? And here I'll learn about, I'll get an explanation for what it means to see comparison between samples, an explanation, an example, and why it fits. And the same with the other option down here. So after I've read through this material, I can go back to this tab and look at my original problem and determine, okay, am I looking at comparison between samples or a sample and a population or relationship between variables? I'm going to click the wrong answer, and you'll notice it says incorrect. So this first activity, we encourage you to learn from it as you go through it. A score or a percentage will be sent back to Canvas. You should get 100% on this. You can go through it mindlessly, of course, just clicking through, or carefully. And the carefully will be important because later on exams, you won't have any of these supports. So as you use them now, you're preparing yourself for later. So I click on the correct answer, and then explains why it's the correct answer. I encourage you to read why it's the correct answer, read those paragraphs. Then I go to the next question. How many samples are being studied in the problem above? So I look at this. If I'm unsure, I can click on the how do I decide? What does it mean to have one group sample, two groups, or three or more? You probably will only have to go through one of those once, unless you need to review it in the future as you go through other problems. So I'll click the wrong answer, it says incorrect, and click one sample. Then it explains why that is correct. Then comes the next question. And of course, this is the same research question up here. What is the nature of the data? Ratio, interval, ordinal, nominal. Click on the how do I decide, and I learn about nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio data. Then I return, and I look at this, and I realize because of the instruction I've received that it's nominal. If I had selected ordinal, it would have said incorrect. And we click proceed. And now I have one more question. Now, to see all of these options, I'm going to click this little box up here. And now I can see all my options. Now I need to determine, is this a one sample t-test, one sample Wilcoxon test, one sample z-test, or proportion? It's got to be one of those three because I know it's a one sample. Click on the how do I decide? And here it says I can kind of look at the different ones. I want to see, I'm comparing proportions. So then I look at the different proportions and I see that we have these three types of proportions. I've got to determine which of the three it is. And if I click the right answer, which would be a one sample z-test of proportions, click see answer above, and it's complete. Then I go to the next question, and then the next question. When I'm done, submit to the learning management system. Now, at any point, you can save and exit, and you can look at your progress. And this is a heat map where green means I've made correct choices, red would be incorrect choices, and there's some gradient in between. I can look at the details and see how I'm performing at any part in the decision model. Here I'm at 50% correct, and I can even practice. Don't recommend practicing here. You'll get another activity called delayed feedback. That would probably be, we have more scenarios you can practice with there. Okay, so let's go back. And I'm going to go back to my one sample. And then I go to the next problem and take it through, and then the next problem. And Once you've saved and exit, remember to go back through. You'll have to go back through Canvas in order to submit to the LMS. So you can see I've gotten 2 done here. Once I finish this one and this one, I could submit to the LMS like that. It's failed because I'm not a student. We hope this is helpful. If you have any questions, please ask your instructor. Thank you.